Can you hear me? Hello? Can everybody hear? I don't know. Who am I going to hear them?
Go ahead, Grant Ramey and Mike Wilson.
Hello? Can you guys hear?
Hey, Coach, I got you. Sounds good.
Okay.
Sounds good,
Okay.
Coach.
Who you got?
We'll go Grant Ramey and then Mike Wilson, please.
Who's got a question? Start asking.
Rick, what happened in the final, 10 minutes of the first half after you guys looked like had a pretty good start and then Colorado went zone and kind of messed you guys up a little bit?
I thought that once we were trying to figure out some substitution patterns, which we knew going into the game tonight, it was the first time we've had our team on the same bench, and we talked about it long and hard, trying to figure out what would be the best way to do it, to give every guy a chance to play well when he went out there. And we definitely lost some of our rhythm. We started having some defensive breakdowns where when we were in some switching situations on the other end, and we turned the ball over a little bit, trying to do too much, I thought. They went zone, and I don't think Tad, that's what he wants to do, but he was going to stay in it until we heard it, and we never really did. And, we wanted to get the ball in the middle of that, what we've always done with it. And I thought once we started missing those shots, we had guys that were really hesitant to shoot the shots that we need to take. And I thought it affected us on the defensive end a little bit too, where we got back on our heels. But, they're going to make a run. They're too good a team. And we came out and we got our transition game going. We were running. We were doing a lot of good things. But once we, again, started our substitute pattern that we have not had one bit of practice doing, I thought that caught up with us. And then to take nothing away from them at all, because I thought it was really a smart move on him to go zone, because we haven't had enough days since we were shut down to spend as much time on our zone offense as we had previously before we got shut down ourselves. And we just weren't sharp there, got very hesitant. And that's something I'm not really concerned about. My biggest concern still would be the fact that we didn't rebound the ball the way we have to be the team we want to be. And that's probably the biggest disappointment, just we didn't rebound the ball the way we need to.
Mike Wilson, then Rob Lewis.
Rick, what did you like about what you had defensively tonight? I guess especially it seemed like Jaden and Keon had some good defensive moments in the second half.
Well, Mike, you're right. That's what they do. I've said to you, they really are good at ball hawking. They will get in there and, we talk about tackling the ball and getting that guy in your grasp and trying to take the ball away from him. And both of those guys have that ability. I thought Jaden was good. He missed Friday's workout and not feeling well. And then he came back, and I thought he really impacted the game. Both of them made one big mistake that they've got to get out of when they turned the ball over. They went up to try to get it back and let the ball get behind them, and both times we gave up baskets there. But I thought defensively they can do that, and that's where we think they can help us. But I think between them they had, if I'm not mistaken, let me make sure, they had 7 turnovers. 7 of the half of our turnovers, and 5 of them were Jaden, and 2 of them were, 5 of them was Keon, 2 of them was Jaden. But that's the biggest thing we try to talk to them in practice. They're both too good of an offensive player to continue to turn the ball over the way they do. And but defensively, and again, I thought Jaden was good. Keon had his moments too, but then he had some pretty bad moments where he turned it over, then he panicked and threw it away again. But those guys will be fine because they're competitive, and they just need, and I've said it to you guys the other day, those guys have been hurt from the shutdown more than anybody. They were getting in a pretty good groove, then they missed 2 weeks, and they were just affected by it probably more than anybody.
Do you still expect, to have a fluctuating starting lineup potentially? I know VJ was in there tonight, but is this a lineup that could have a lot of different looks throughout the year?
Yeah, Mike, I think we're still trying to figure out the best way to get a rotation going with our team. That's what we got to figure out. And I was really proud of BJ because he's has always been more of an offensive-minded player, offense first. I thought he came out and did a really nice job to start the game on McKinley Wright, who's arguably the one of the best players in the Pac-12 and one of the best players in the country. But I thought VJ set a really good tone for our team and making him work and got it going offensively a little bit. I look at it, I mean, I knew that because of Colorado and the respect we have for them, that we'd have to play some guys some heavy minutes because it's right now what you don't want to do is let those young guys get out there and make so many mistakes that it just lingers in their mind for a long time. And so we were trying to let them stay out as long as we could, but then you start seeing the patterns that develop in practice and you got to get them out. But yeah, I could see the lineup staying like this for a while or changing. It just, again, we've got to figure out our pattern, and we don't have it yet. I can tell you that we don't have it figured out yet.
Coach, you're kind of touching on what I want to ask you, but you had 4 guys play 30 minutes. 30 minutes or more. Do you anticipate that going down with the depth that you have, and as the young kids get more acclimated?
Yes, I do. There's no doubt we expect it to go down. We don't want anybody really above 32, but we felt tonight with Colorado they were going to force us to play guys that experienced guys minutes, big minutes, because we felt it was going to be a really close game as it was. And we knew even when we jumped up on them early, we knew they would make a run to get back in it, and they did. But then when it's not fair to put those young guys out there in some tight situations early in the year because, like I said, you don't want to lose them. You don't want to lose them with their confidence. And the mistakes they made tonight, I think we'll be able to look at it and learn from it. But, yeah, Rob, we need to get those minutes down. Folky, again, he had not practiced since Friday, so I wasn't surprised that he wouldn't be very good. I kept telling the coaches, and they said, well, I hope you're wrong. I do think he responded at the end of the game. He came up with a couple plays. Eve struggled. He's a senior. He shouldn't ever be tentative out there shooting the ball, and he was a few times. But rebounding the ball, just great job rebounding the ball. E.J. Anasicki, I thought for the first time out, did some really good things. He was shooting the ball in an area that we don't want the elbow jumper. We want to be inside around the SEC, and he just wasn't aware of where he was on the court attacking against the zone. But yeah, we want to use our depth, and I hope this is a game. Again, it was going to be tough, and we knew it, and we felt like we'd love to be able to, play some guys more minutes, and but going forward, we hope to do that.
Nicholas Hill, then Wes Rucker.
Coach, tonight, obviously, with this being the season opener for the first time in front of only 3,000 instead of 20,000, do you think that had an effect at all, considering that just how different the environment is here at TBA this season?
Well, I do think it affects the guys that have been here before, understanding what Thompson-Boling Arena is like if you bring a team like Colorado, and it would have been a packed house. And but the fact that we've been able to practice down here a little bit more, we've tried to do that because and I thought they did a nice job with the crowd noise tonight. I didn't think it was overbearing. I didn't think it was a major, I think it was what it had to be. And I appreciate the fans that were here. And it is what it is right now. And but I thought our guys, again, they get out there and they start playing. People would probably be surprised that even when the building is sold out and it's crazy in there, what goes on between that line, sometimes we're all oblivious to it until, there's certain times, obviously, you feed off the crowd and you do that. But we'll learn a lot from this. And it was different. It's definitely different. I can tell you, it's a much different feeling. I mean, you think about it, it's December or whatever, and we're just now playing our first game. And I don't think any of us knew exactly what it was going to be like, other than we've talked about it. They've seen enough games on TV to see some of it at other places, but it's definitely a different feeling. And that's why I'm just glad that we're going to be able to get some games going, hopefully from here on out.
Rick, when you, I guess, look at Eve Pons and some of those looks he got tonight, those are looks that a lot of times he makes, those kind of pull-ups and right there around 8-10 feet. But when they're not going down like that, how much emphasis could there be for him to just keep going and go to the rim? I'm not sure how many guys could stop him from doing that.
Well, you know what? Wes, we talked to him a lot about that. I think that's where he's got to have that feel to know, but they were going to let us catch it there and shoot it. And we spent a lot of time in that area. I would almost venture to say as much as anybody in the country in that 8-10 foot range area there. And, we tell them, if you go look for trouble, you're going to find it. And if you're open, and we just said, hey, just shoot the ball like you mean it. There's no reason to hesitate. We needed to get a little more rebounding out of it. But again, if there's anybody to blame for that, it's me, because, we worked on a lot of things. We had 2 days prep to get ready for these guys. And we did hit the zone because we felt like it's something that they could throw at us, knowing that, hey, we had to get a lot of things going back to get ready to play. And we know that Tad's not normally a zone coach, and we know what he prides himself in, but we'll be better against it. I really think that when we had a couple good plays, but when we got back control of the game, it was with our defense, and we got out in transition and got more of an attack type mentality. And we need to continue that when we get to the benches and guys come in. We got to get some of these guys were tentative, which you would expect, but we got to get through that.
Ben McKee and Vince Ferrara.
Coach, what did you think of the defensive performance for you guys tonight, and how much did Kim English scouting Colorado as a former Colorado assistant help you all tonight?
Well, yeah, whether Kim was there or whatever, they had us scouted well. They knew what we wanted to do. They had us scouted well. Kim knows what they were doing, but he would have been able to do that whether he was with them or not. They, like I said, I thought they did a nice job scouting us too. And but Kim was, it was first of all, it was important. I think his relationship really got the game on, to be quite honest with you. We were, I can't even begin to tell you what Mike Schwartz and Reed Sigmund have done to try to get a schedule. Constantly still talking, still trying to find a game that we can fit in at some point in time, so we can at least get to 25. And but Kim did a nice job. And I've said before, I don't think there's a better coaching staff in the country in terms of game preparation, getting guys understanding what we need to do to win. And he knows those guys. He's still very close to that staff. He's got a great relationship with all of them. And I respect them as much as anybody, because I understand the way, I know how Tad does things, and we need more guys in college basketball with Tad Boyle type character.
Rick, first time with the layout, with the bench the way it was, anything from an administrative standpoint with the way the bench was laid out, or any observation with your guys and how engaged they were as a team, anything from that standpoint on your spot?
Yeah, we got on our bench during one of the timeouts, because we felt like when they made their run to get back in it, we were dead as a bench, and it's different, but still they should be very vocal. They've got to be in it, doing what they need to do. And but again, it's like I said, it's the first time that we've been together on the same benches around the court. It's different. It really is, because we're trying to move people around during timeout, so guys aren't sitting beside each other. Guys, we're conscientious. I'm not, obviously, but people are. They're working it, trying to tell this guy sit here, this guy there, and so it's different. It really is. It's just the timeouts were okay, because that's kind of how we normally would do it. But the bench itself, it's just different. And like I said, that's the first time we've done it. We had scrimmages, but we've had both ends. We worked both ends and separated them. But to think about it, I'm looking around trying to yell at guys to get in the game, and I look up and Urosh is sitting on the baseline, and I'm like, you better get there and take your sweats off when you get there. Yet Jaden, he was trying to take his sweats off, but he's going to have to run over there. So those are some things we'll have to talk about. We're going to have to make sure they get to the table first, and then worry about because the building's a little bit different. It's probably not as warm. Doesn't get as hot as normally because of more people in there, But the benches, I'm going to have to get used to that too, because I was looking around and trying to see guys, and I wasn't sure where they were.
Thank you, Coach.
All right. That's you, Tom. We're good?
We're good. We're going to have VJ Bailey up next.
Is that you before you got your beard dyed, or is that live, or is that a picture? I can't
right
tell.
After a good dye.
Okay. All right. I can't believe, honestly, guys, that BJ's in this room with me, that I ever mentioned that he did a good job defensively. I just hope when I get home tonight and watch the tape that I'm not disappointed. I'm just, BJ, that's what I'm hoping right now. You know, have you ever played defense like that? At least he's honest. He said no. All right. Thanks, guys.
All right, VJ, thanks for joining us. We're going to start with Rob Lewis and then Mike Wilson.
Well, VJ, just, kind of in general, and I know the crowd stuff was different, but just what was it like being out there with your teammates after practicing with them for a year without being able to play?
The emotions and everything that I was going through before the game is, I can't even describe it. Sitting out and watching for a whole year was tough, and just to be out there with the guys and talk and laugh and play hard and just feel like I'm a part of the team, felt amazing.
BJ, what were you guys able to do so well defensively tonight to affect Colorado's guards the way you did?
We just came out early. We knew they had some talented guards, especially McKinley Wright. Just wanted to kind of, take it personal and make the matchups personal and try and push the pressure on those guards. And we kind of knew McKinley Wright was the head of the snake, and we wanted to kind of start with him and trickle down. And I think we did a good job of handling that.
Go to David Shealy and Trey Wallace.
What's up, BJ? I just wanted to know, man, how have you handled all the hardships and the ups and downs and is the season going to happen? When is it finally going to start? How have you handled that mentally, especially after having to sit out a year ago?
Yeah, I kind of just use the same principles I did when I was sitting out the year. I know eventually it's going to come. Eventually we'll get it rolling, and like it happened tonight. We were able to get out there, and I was finally able to get out there with my teammates, and it felt amazing.
Hey, Victor, you had 8 points right at the under 8 TV break. And what was your mindset? I know you talked about before the game, but how the offense was run, trying to run through you and trying to set up your shot. How do you think the other guys did trying to feed the paint as well?
Coach has really been harping, feeding the post these last couple of practices. We try and play in, out, get Folky going, get Eve going. And when that happens, that opens up shots for the guards on the perimeter. So trying to look for post-ups early, try and get in there early and be ready to make shots.
Grant Ramey and Nicholas Hill.
Do you think that came from waiting as long as they had to wait to finally actually play a game to make their debut and to have to do it against a team like that?
Can you repeat that, please?
Grant, what was it?
Being timid,
Did you feel like the young guys were timid maybe early on when they first got an opportunity to get in there and play? Did you see any of that from Keon and Jaden?
No, never timid. Timid was not the word I would use. It's their first game, so just getting their feet wet. Trying to see what it's like, playing on this level, and I think they did a good job. I think they did a job. They practice hard, and I think when you practice hard, good things happen. And I think they'll continue to do that, and they'll continue to play well.
I was kind of curious. At the 16-minute timeout break there early in the second half, when Colorado had brought it down to a 2-point difference, just what was the key to refocusing so that you guys were able to pull away there for the rest of the half?
Guys talking, guys being vocal, guys holding guys accountable. We're trying to be a team, player-led team. So when things get rough, we try and make sure as players we talk. Coaches, we got the best coaching staff in the country. We know that they know what's going on. So as players, it's our job to make sure we know what's going on and we're talking, and because we're actually on the court. So when it got down, older guys were talking, younger guys were listening. And I think we did a good job of just being a team and listening to everybody and taking it on the head and coming out and playing better.
We're going to finish up with VJ with Vince, Rob Lewis, then Mike Wilson.
Victor, a couple things. One, was it an advantage for you having played against Colorado like you had when you were at Oregon? And then how much is tenacity a big part of what you bring to the table?
Yeah, I was able to go back and watch the games my sophomore and freshman year against Colorado and kind of see some of the things that I wanted to change and I wanted to do better with. And I know a lot of guys weren't able to do that. So that helped a lot, kind of just seeing myself out there again, because obviously this is my first time being out there in a long time. So it was just good to rewatch those games and just see myself on the court and know I can play good basketball.
VJ, I know it's just one game, and you guys will find plenty of things to clean up. But you were part of some good teams at Oregon. What do you feel about the potential of this team based on your experience?
I think we can be great. I think at Oregon, when we really got cooking is when our defense held it in. And I think with this team, we have some of the best defensive guards in the country. And I know once we get rolling, the same feelings I felt at Oregon once we started to get rolling on defense is the same thing that I'm starting to feel here. And once we really lock in on defense, it's going to be hard for teams to beat us.
VJ, how much energy did you guys get from that play that Keon made on that inbound pass where you kind of dove around the guy, knocked it off him? How much did that affect you guys?
A lot, man, a lot. When guys are vocal and show emotion, it feeds off everybody else. And when that happens, something special can really happen.
Thank you, VJ. We'll have Santiago Vescovi next, and as we're waiting for Santi, just a reminder that there is photo content from tonight's game available on the SEC Media Portal. You want to start raising hands for Santiago. We'll start with Wes Rucker, then Mike Wilson.
Santi, y'all got off to such a great start. I think it was 19-4, and then Colorado went to some of that zone stuff, and the offense kind of seemed to sputter a little bit. What do y'all need to do better against those zones?
I think we did a really good job when the game started. Then it went to zone, and I think we need to be more aggressive against it. And I know we can be. We were just – it's our first game. We're getting things like we knew there were going to be some things that we were going to struggle with, but, we'll get it done. We'll work on it every day, and I think we're going to get better at it.
Santi, first off, how was your eye after taking that hit? And then, yeah, looks solid. Not as good as the hair, but looks solid. Then how were you guys able to guard so well at the guard position today? What went well for you guys?
Say it again, sorry.
What went well for you guys defensively at guard today? What were you able to do to stop Colorado?
I think just think about how deep our team is. I think that's one of the main things that kept us in a good defensive position. Just having a lot of athletic guys. I think we're doing a really good job every week in the practices, defending against each other. And, just knowing that you could give 100% on every possession, knowing that the guy who's coming in for you next play, he's going to give his 100. And, just being that deep with our bench, I think it's one of the main things that kept us in a pretty good defensive position.
And how's your eye? Do you need stitches or anything?
I don't think I'm gonna get stitches. I got hit, and I remember I was on the floor, and then when I saw Folky calling the medical stuff, I remember he raised a hand. I was like, okay, I might be bleeding, so I just stayed down, and then I came out. I told him I wanted something to stick so I could come back to the game right away, and then just when the game finished, we could fix it or figure out a way to get it done. And they did a really good job, the medical stuff. So I really thank them.
Rob Lewis and Nicholas Hill.
And Santi, you touched on the depth just a minute ago, but just how much different does it feel than last year, knowing that you've got 5, 6 guys that can come in off the bench and not just contribute but play at a high level?
I mean, that's exactly what I said. So it feels really different with the depth that we have in the team right now, knowing that you could go every possession 100% in offense or defense, knowing that the guy coming in for you is going to give his 100 and they'll have a high level. So, I mean, and it's really fun playing with them because, they all can score the ball, they all can play D. I mean, it's just fun. And I think it all comes to trusting each other. And I think we got a really great group this year and we all trust each other.
And could you really feel momentum shift in those 2 possessions where Keon forces the turnover, you hit him with the alley-oop, then you get the steal and hit the 3 on the other end? Did it feel like one of those momentum shifting moments just that minute?
I mean, to be honest, it really amazed me how loud. I don't know if it was loud the moment or not. It was just the momentum. But I felt like we had the whole attendance in TBA. I just really felt everyone was cheering for us at that moment. And I think it was a really good momentum for us that kept us in the game and brought us back.
I'm kind of going off of the last question. Just how much more confident do you feel this year, finally having a full off season with Coach Barnes and staff of their whole system?
I mean, I really have a lot more of confidence in myself. Just having it wasn't a whole preseason, but having more time to work with the team. Of course, I'm getting to know more every time Coach Barnes, and I think we developing a good relationship in terms of I know I can go and ask him every time what he thought about practice or what could we get better at, and he'll tell me every time what he thinks. And I mean, I think that's just gonna help us, and then I could most of the times I could tell that to my teammates so we can fix the things that Coach saw wrong. And of course, then he'll tell everyone in film whether if we did it wrong or good. But I mean, I feel way more confident in the team, and also I trust a lot all my teammates.
Take one last call for any questions for Santi. All right, Santi, we appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Santi.
Hey, everybody, if any of you have feedback on this process tonight, obviously this is our first time trying it live for basketball, so please feel free to shoot me an email with any suggestions or things that we could do differently or better. And certainly just appreciate your all's thoughts, but appreciate all you guys.
Thank you, Tom.
Thanks, Tom.